Hello, both sides of the conversation family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome, everybody, to Both Sides of the Conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Tuesday, so you know what that means. We're going to have another segment of our Hidden Gems where we come here every Tuesday at 7 o'clock to highlight our Black and Brown businesses, as well as community leaders and organizations that are doing positive things to impact communities. So just happy to be here this Tuesday. We got Tony Rochelle here. She's going to help co-host with us tonight. Before we bring her up, I just want to go over a couple of the announcements and some of the things that's taking place across our news channels and some of the events in our community. As you all know, it's been a rough weekend for the Black community as there was another mass shooting in Buffalo, New York. People are just, in outrage right now about what's going on. Today, President Biden went up to Buffalo to speak with the families. He had an emotional speech. Basically, he announced that white supremacy is poison in our country. Evil will not win. Also talking to some of the families and, was able to meet with some of the law enforcement folks up there. It is sad that another tragedy like this is happening in our community. I know it's in New York. We're here in California, but it seems like this hate is spreading across the country fast. As today, there was a report of 2 nooses hung at Sonoma State College in Sonoma. Also, there was some anti-blackness and white power stuff that was taking place in Danville, where some folks went out and protested. Right after this shooting, talking about white lives matter. There's been an increase of tension in the community. The dog whistle for this hatred and this white supremacy in our country is moving. So as community, we always stick together, stay in solidarity, and we cannot step back and just let these racist folks come into our community and cause harm and treat our people like they're hunting deer out in the wilderness. There's a lot of organizations and organizing that is taking place. We don't take these type of threats and things that's taking place in our community as something that's just a game. There's been a number of prank calls and people making threats over the internet. The law enforcement, FBI agents, and a number of other law enforcement have been going after some of those folks. I don't know what it is, but people think it's okay to play when we talk about hate. But this is a conversation we're going to have to continue to have. Again, I know President Biden spoke today in Buffalo and some of the things that he felt passionate about. But again, there's still not enough. We need an anti-hate bill for Black folks in this country. We had an anti-Asian stop hate bill that they passed. And there's more needed to be done. So we're not just going to take those conversations and speech whole until more action is taking place in our community to protect our community, especially when our elders become attacked. and our young folks of our community. So again, it's an emotional week. It's an up and down roller coaster for everybody. More information is spewing out during the day and the rest of this week, and we'll be getting that information out to community. But in the meantime, community, be vigilant, be aware. These folks are out in our community. They are walking within us in our streets, in our communities, and we just have to be mindful to stay aware. And we just have to keep pressing through. Also, one of the over the weekend, there was a church shooting that took place where a Vietnamese or Chinese American man went into a church and shot and killed one person and injured some others based on some hate from China and Taiwan. As y'all can see, again, mental health is real. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. A lot of propaganda and things are going on over the news, and we just got to be safe out there. And it's just unfortunate that in 22, we are still dealing with folks hanging nooses, making racial jokes, doing these type of hate crimes, and thinking it's okay. But these are the times we in. This message of Black folks and minorities trying to replace white folks is just insane to me. But this is their fear, and I guess that's their reality. But again, we just have to be mindful because these things are taking place in our communities. Also, with that being said, one of the big stories, a mom sues TikTok after her 10-year-old daughter dies from the blackout challenge. As you all know, TikTok has been one of those mainstream social media handles that our young folks use, millions and millions of viewers. But this mom is suing because, again, these challenges are being real. I see a lot of them on there, and I don't understand why our young people are so fascinated to doing things that could take your life with these challenges. But yes, this mom is going after legal action, saying that the social media handler is not regulating the social media properly, and it caused her daughter to die. But we'll see where that goes. We'll keep you all updated on that. Also in Buffalo, there was a number of folks who was arrested for making threats over phone calls, causing breweries and pizzerias, saying that they was going to do another shooting. So again, this stuff is still going on across the country right now. There are elected primaries going on. There's a number of Senate seats up and congressional seats. So there's a election thing going on tonight where folks are trying to vote for those seats. So hopefully some of those results will come up before the end of the segment, or tomorrow we'll be getting that information out to a community. Also, the Pentagon put out today that they have had 400 real encounters with UFOs in this over the last year. So I guess all these folks that they were saying in Las Vegas and different places and telling people were crazy, I guess they're not so crazy, and they're finding out that there is something outside of our space. So we'll get more information on that. I guess UFOs are real, and it's a concern for our government. They're trying to tap in to find out what these UFOs are, where they from. So I guess that'd be some interesting news coming up. Also, in our community, there's a number of graduations and community events that are coming up. We're going to be a part of some of those graduations as our young folks, the class of 2022, are starting to walk across stages across the Bay Area and beyond. And some of our young folks who went to college are coming home. So we're going to have a number of celebrations that we're going to attend. Also, both sides of the conversation, part of our narrative shift and changing the narrative in our community. Some of the young folks in San Francisco, we're going to be paying stipends to come on and talk about their journey through high school. So parents out there that's listening, if you have young folks who are graduating in San Francisco, this is primary for our San Francisco families because this grant is covered through San Francisco. We will be paying stipends to our young folks. We want them to come on and talk about their journey of going through school in San Francisco and as they transitioning to college, and some of our middle school kids who are transitioning to high school. So more information to come about that. If you would like to know more, please send an email to info@bsotc.org, and we'll update you how we can get your young folks involved with that. Again, we had a great mental health conversation this past Sunday. We're going to continue to keep the lead in mental health talks and financial literacy as we promised the community this year in 2022. Our primary goal was to make sure we continue to bring that type of message and education to this platform, and we've been doing it. And last week was a powerful mental health conversation. If you missed it, please go to our YouTube and look up the conversation from last Tuesday. And also, we had a phenomenal educational Thursday last week on financial literacy, and we're going to continue to pump those out to community as they come down. Also, some of the community events that are taking place, the Alonzo King Line Ballet, Hearts with Lines are looking for community program interns. So if you have young folks that would like to be a part of this, the deadline is June 1st. to register, and we'll get that information up on the screen for the Community Lines ballot. If you have any young folks that would like to be a part of it, it's a great way to get them involved for this summer. Also, the San Francisco Rebels Sports and STEM Summer Camp is taking place this summer. There are a number of sessions that your young folks can get involved with it. June 6th through to July 22nd is going to be at Gateway High School in San Francisco. If you would like to be a part of it, or if you're looking for your young folks to be a part of this STEM program, please go to sfrebels@1990@gmail.com, and we'll get that information up on the screen as well. Also, the Marsh Youth Theater presents Voices of the Youth every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. through June 12th. For San Francisco residents, they can receive up to a $250 stipend. Please reach out to Rebecca, and we'll get that information up on the screen as well. Also coming up, the Comedy and Awards Show, August 13th. For the Invest Black, my guy Renard Monroe is putting this on. This is going to be a great event to highlight our young folks and community. They're bringing comedians all across the country to come do this, and it's going to be a great event. The tickets are on Eventbrite, and you can look under the Comedy Awards Show for August 13th to get tickets if you would like to be a part of that. Also, for both sides of the conversation announcement, we're going to be announcing our Educational Thursday to be determined. We had a cancellation, so we're going to try to get somebody to fill that in for this Thursday. And then this Sunday, we're going to take a week off and get ready for the next week as we start getting ready for the graduations, our Father's Day conversation, and Men's Mental Health. We're starting to put that together, so be looking forward to that. Also, if you would like to support, be a volunteer and help support some of the work that we're doing here at both sides of the conversation, please sign up on our website. We are still looking for volunteers to help support our mission, our visions, and the things that we're trying to do to impact community. And another way you guys can support us, I know everybody does things differently, but if you go to Amazon Smile and choose both sides of the conversation as one of your charitable organizations, Amazon will donate 0.5% of all your purchases with no extra cost to you to our organization to help us up and keep everything free and running here at both sides of the conversation. With that being said, enough of me. Y'all heard enough of me. I'm going to bring up Tony Rochelle so she can welcome herself to everybody, and then we're going to bring up tonight's Hidden Gems. Tony, what's going on, sister?
Hey everybody, I'm Tony Rochelle, aka Pretty Tony. I'm your co-host tonight for both sides of the conversation, and tonight is a very special show for me tonight. It's one of my dear friends, and so I'm excited to hear her speak about what she do in the community, and let's go.
All right. With that being said, we're going to bring up Miss Salima Jones, a Grambling Tiger alumni. This is our second Tiger this year we've had on our segment. Welcome, sister. You got to unmute your mic.
Right, as many times as we on the day, you should know better that. You should know better than to go ahead and hit the mute button. Thank you guys for having us. Thank you for having me, Grambling State in his house, most definitely. So thank you guys for having Salima Jones with Put Your Play on Productions on the show tonight. Thank you.
All right. With that being said, if you want to go ahead and give a brief introduction to people who don't know about your production, and then we could bring up some of your cast. Can you talk a little bit about that so community know what Put Your Play is and all of that?
Sure. Yes. Thank you. Put Your Play on Productions is a nonprofit 501c3 theater production company where we educate, inspire, and uplift. We put on stage productions that have a social conscience that affects things in the community, different social things that are going on in the community, such as domestic violence, HIV/AIDS, community responsibility, child advocacy, as well as colorism. So that's another play that we have coming up as well. But as stated, I'm Salima Jones. I'm a native of the Bay Area, straight out of Oakland, graduated from Oakland Tech University, went on to go to Grambling State University, and back in the Bay Area after living down south, Midwest, on the East Coast as well. Definitely made it back to my roots, as they say, in the Bay Area.
All right, Oakland Tech in the house. I see you working. Well,
she had to throw that in there.
Right. Yeah, she had the Bulldogs. Get the Bulldogs up there. Yeah. So, I want to go ahead and bring up the rest of your guests. If you want to bring them up or introduce them one at a time, and we can bring them up, and then we'll jump into a little conversation about the play. Definitely want to talk to you about this colorism. That's one of the conversations we want to have on our Sunday conversation. As colorism is a big deal. A lot of people brush it off, so definitely want to talk to you about that. But I'll let you go ahead and introduce some of the folks that's on these plays with you or under your team, and then we'll have some conversation with you all.
Definitely. So first, we already have here Toni Rochelle, aka Pretty Tony. She is definitely a staple in our plays. She is talented. She brings it for any and every play that we've had. I think she's actually been in all of them except for one. And she has brought and delivered it each and every time. I mean, hard to the stage. So she is definitely the model, the host, the actress, everything you want her to be live and in person. Next, coming up, we have Angel Galloway. She's the assistant director as well as the general manager for Put Your Play On Productions. That's been my bestie since 7th grade. We've been rolling through since Carter Middle School all the way up until now. That's 30 plus years of friendship. And through that, she is part of the Put Your Play On Productions team as well. As stated, the general manager as well as the assistant director. I believe we also have Jay Sharma on as well. He is playing Torian in Cherish, which is our upcoming production. And we also have, and I'm know his name, but he's got this new name. He's got this new name.
Sohan.
So I'm going to call him Sohan Prasad. I was just going to say Mr. Prasad, but Sohan Prasad is also with our Cherish production. He is playing Jason / Jerome. He has a dual role in the play. This is just a brief overview of the cast that we have coming up for our play dealing with community responsibility as well as child advocacy. That play is going to be June 3rd and 4th at the Black Repertoire Theater in Berkeley at 7:00 p.m.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Jay, if you all want to take a shot at introducing yourself, I think Angel froze up. But Jay, if you want to introduce, give people a little your background and your role and all of this, that would be cool.
Sure, man. First of all, thanks for having us. This is really awesome. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm a Bay Area native, born and raised here. Born in San Francisco, grew up Daly City, Milpitas now, not too far. Probably furthest I've been from the city past few years, but yeah, I've been here. Grew up in a really rough Mexican neighborhood, and so a lot of the issues that we seem to be seeing right now was still going on back in the early 90s and late 90s. It seems like stuff was still happening back then, unfortunately. But had my share of run-ins here and there with police officers. And so I just kind of been around here. I worked as an EMT in Oakland for 8 years. Got injured and got back into acting, and here I am.
Cool. That's dope, man. Great story. Great Bay Area demographics from San Francisco to Oakland to Milpitas. All right. Brother Sohan, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and give a little background?
Sure. My name is Sohan Prasad. I grew up in the Detroit area, moved out here years ago. I'm not going to tell you how long ago because you'll know that I'm like an old man. So, but moved out here. I, in addition to being an actor, I have 3 other jobs. One is I work for a technology company in San Francisco called Notified, and we help companies boost their presence in the public eye. We help public companies, private companies improve their profile and in the eyes of their audience. The other thing I do is I'm working on putting together an adult foster care home in Detroit with my mother over there. And that's for people that have traumatic brain injuries. So it's a home that you have 24-hour care. So it's basically a much needed service that, you don't have enough homes out there like that where people aren't living in a big facility. You're actually living in a regular home. You feel like a normal person. And the other thing is I have a non-toxic pesticide for fruits and vegetables. So working on bringing that to market. So I keep myself pretty busy. But I'm excited to be in this play. It's going to be a great opportunity to showcase these characters that Salima's put together. I play the role of Jason, who's the father of the character that's central to. Well, I think I'll let Salima talk about that. But yeah, I'm excited to share this with you.
Oh man, that's powerful. Can't wait to hear it. Miss Angel, you want to go ahead and give a little bit about yourself to the community? I think Angel might have froze up.
Yeah, she might be froze.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go ahead and introduce. I'm Angel Galloway. Like Salima said, I'm the assistant director and tech director, as well as the general manager of Put Your Play on Production. I am from Oakland, California. I've lived in California all the time, so I haven't moved around. I did live in Stockton for a little bit, but I'm back in the Bay Area. Currently, I work in healthcare. I've been in healthcare over 20 years, so a lot of social issues and community issues that go on with the Put Your Play On productions are in line with my passion in healthcare and trying to get that put out into the community also. I've been working with Put Your Play On since about 2018. I think when Salima moved back to California, she came back and hit the ground running, and we've been doing this ever since. And this particular play that's coming out next month, I look forward to seeing it fully on stage. We put a lot of work into this, and that's it for me.
Wow, no loss for words there. Wanted to say, definitely, I want to go out and check out that place, Salima. It sounds like something that's exciting. But could you talk to the community a little bit about, how did you put this together? What motivated you to put these type of plays together? Is this a local play? Are you guys touring, going across the country, or is this just a local Bay Area play? Or are you trying to extend? Can you give us a little information on that?
Sure. I actually didn't start off writing plays as this was going to be my life. As I stated, I went off to college, went to law school, been practicing law, have been practicing law for probably 10 or so years, a bit. But by the time I started actually writing plays, I actually started writing plays with a friend who wrote a play when I lived in Dallas, Texas, about AIDS and HIV awareness. And she put it on at a church. I went to go see it. It was really good. But she started kind of talking to me about what she really wanted to do with the play and how she held back some, or had to hold back, because the person that she was writing with, because of her Christian faith, they really couldn't dive hard into, AIDS and HIV, what causes it, how it transcends beyond economic and socioeconomic and gender lines and racial lines and things of that nature. So she and I just started having this conversation as far as what she wanted to do. And in turn, I would say, well, then, if you would have done that, then you could have done this. And so we basically rewrote the play. And that's how I got into starting to write plays, just really on that particular level, and continue to write plays because of the things that we write about definitely still continue to plague our community. I worked at a lot of nonprofits, one of them being Legal Aid in Texas, Legal Aid in California as well. And just dealing with that particular client population, you really see a lot of things that are going on in the community. You can't help but to see those type of things that are happening in your community because those are your clients. Things that affect us, like domestic violence, was really, really heavy, part of our heavy clientele. You'll see things like colorism coming in. You'll see racial discrimination. You'll see a lot of housing discrimination as well. So those are the things that just really plague our community. And those are the things that are near and dear to my heart. Like one of the things that Angel mentioned was that being in the healthcare field, the plays that we write about and the plays that we produce and put on are aligned with what she does. And the same with me. I'm no longer practicing law, but I do work for a developer, a nonprofit developer, and we build affordable housing. So we help develop affordable housing, and with that, you still see a lot of discrimination, especially among Black and Brown people, going way back, with redlining, gerrymandering, things of that nature that has prevented Black and Brown people from getting the proper housing and getting sustainable housing that they need. So the things, as stated, the things that we write about really affect our community. We would love to take these plays on tours. So Tyler Perry or Ava DuVernay, who is my girl straight up, which is where I received the inspiration to even write this play, would like to donate, help, put us on, definitely. Until then, we will definitely put in the work, garner the talent, and put this on wherever and wherever we can. We'll definitely put it on more than once. As stated, it's going to be at the Berkeley Repertory Theater, so I'm sure we'll probably take it around the Bay Area as we garner feedback on what to do, how to put it on in different places that we can put it on as well throughout the Bay Area. But I will say with Cherish, which is this awesome and amazing play that I think everybody will love. I got the idea during the pandemic. I was watching a show called Cherish the Day on television. It was about a love story. And within that love story, the leading lady, her lifestyle kind of came up to where you saw that she wasn't raised by her parents, and it was more so that she was kind of raised by the gentleman in the hood, so to speak, or by the hood. The guy that she referred to as her parent, he was not her biological father. Her mother, who showed up but didn't show up, was like uber flaky in her life. So from that, I really wanted to know, like, what happened to her, what happened to her parents, and how did she fare out on that other side to come out the way that she did. Because she was very responsible, very helpful, in the community, things of that nature, where it seems like because of her home life, she definitely could have went in a totally different direction. So I watched it, and then I tweeted Ava DuVernay the next day, like, hey, you really need to delve into this particular storyline, and let's see, let's see what happened. And I didn't hear back from Ava DuVernay, and I'm sure she's going to respond as soon as she can. But I probably also didn't give her a chance either, because I just woke up like at 1:00 in the morning and started writing it. And I wrote like 3 or 4 scenes, put it down for a couple months, and finally came back to it. Dealing with this play, it's about child advocacy, and it's about community responsibility. Like always say, it takes a village to raise a child. And in this particular play, the parents of the leading lady journey, her father, passes away due to some street activity. Her mother kind of pretty much abandons her. And at that point, what can she do? Who will help her? Will the streets take her in and raise this particular child and let her go down a broken path, or will the community come in together one by one and help raise this young lady and lead her on the right path that she needs to be led on to make it to the other side?
Wow, powerful, amazing stuff. I'm so excited to hear this, because the last 3 to 4 years, I kind of really started getting back into plays. I really, wasn't going as much. We had a couple from the Bay Area Theater Company, one of the grantees of our Dreamkeepers. They've been doing some plays and just been starting to get back into it. But I think it's very powerful plays for the Black community. As you know, a lot of these topics that you talked about is so hard to talk about in our community. And when you do have a play to kind of reveal some of the stuff that is taking place, to open up community eyes and awareness of what's going on, I think is very powerful. Performing arts is a big thing in our culture. So to bring it, I'm starting to see more of it coming back. And I think is, a very, very powerful way to engage with our community. To bring up these issues. I mean, that's kind of like what we're doing at both sides of the conversation as well, just trying to have these conversations, break the taboo conversations, some of the stigma conversations, and really talk about it and start bringing it to the forefront to highlight. But I think, the stuff that you all are going after, colorism, domestic violence, is a big issue. There was a big increase in domestic violence in our Black and Brown communities during the pandemic. And what a way to go through these art shows. I think this is something phenomenal. I'm looking forward to trying to join there on the 3rd or the 4th. I know I got an event on the 4th, but I'm gonna try to get there on that 3rd and check out the play. But when you're writing up these concepts, from start to finish, what does a process like that take? Is this like a 3, 4, 6 months process? For somebody who, maybe a young person out there aspiring may want to aspire from you. I mean, how long does it take to put one of these type of things together?
To be honest with you, it could be, a couple days, it could be a couple months, it could be a year. I've had a play to where we have a part 2 of our You Better Ask Somebody Living with AIDS and HIV. That's a part 2 of our AIDS and HIV awareness play. It took me a year to write it. It just, to be honest with you, it just really all depends. I wouldn't say, don't hold yourself to a time frame. Different things come at different times. Inspiration comes at different moments from different things. I'm still working on my colorism play, and I think I had the idea from last year, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'm working on it. So it just takes time. I wouldn't put a time frame on it. It just takes time. I would definitely say that writing these, though, when we call them edutainment, we strive to be at Put Your Play On Productions a positive force in edutainment, which is education and entertainment, because we not only want to entertain our community, which we know Black and brown folks are so apt to do, but we also want to entertain our people as well. And we want to have them engaged in talking about these things, changing their vantage point, their viewpoint, and changing the narrative, because so many of these things happen in our households, they happen in our communities. I mean, the story that we have that we're talking about today with Cherish, how many people in your neighborhood, in your communities that are going through this same type of situation where their parental household, whomever they're staying with, whomever their guardian is not, not the ideal, so to speak, parent. Or the ideal, so to speak, parent and or guardian. And you find out that things, and especially those things during this pandemic when they had to stay home, they couldn't go to school. Things are not as all that it looks to be, as they go to school, but when they go home, it's a totally different situation. So those are some of the things that we definitely want to discuss in this particular play.
Wow, very powerful. Brother Jay, I got to come to you next because I want to know, what is it like, going in and out of character, talking about some of these roles that you have to play, man. I mean, is that an easy transition to get in there when you're on the stage, the lights is going, versus just bringing, they always say the best actors are the ones who have those lived experience. So, you talked about some of your lived experience. So when you jump into these characters, is it just natural, or you're really putting in work to handle it?
Normally it is quite a bit of work, but with Torian, I kind of, talking with Salima, she kind of gave me a quick little block of who Torian was, and I was like, I'm not that far off from this guy, or at least I was 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So I had to, I'm not like that at all now. I got a kid, I got a wife, I'm dad now, right? So I'm trying to do the dad thing. I try to do the right thing now. But yeah, it was interesting. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, getting back into that mindset. I actually spent some time back down where I grew up, actually hanging out with some of the same people, hanging out on the street, just kind of getting that adrenaline of when the cops roll by, right? And they're eyeballing you. What that felt like, I kind of forgot that the feel of that. So I kind of wanted to get that feeling of, all right, this isn't Jay playing Torian. I am Torian. I was Torian at one point, right? I just had to remind myself. So, but I mean, with the cast that we got and the direction that Salima and all the help Angel gives us, it was a lot easier than it probably would have been without him, to be honest with you. But yeah, man, it's a good story. It's a great message. That's why I got involved at all. That's what drew me to it. And when Salima called me, I was just, I think it took me all of 15 minutes before I told her, yeah, I'm good. Let's go. Let's do this. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a great story. It's a great message. The girl, I wish she was here, Destiny, the girl that plays Journey, she's awesome actress. Yeah, I mean, just great people. So when you're in that environment of comfort, it's a lot easier to do the work. It's a lot easier to do the work.
Man, that's pretty cool. I mean, very powerful stuff. I just always think about, if I was an actor or role playing, the things that we went through from young to old, the traumas you get in play, you'd be like, oh, this is like deja vu, but powerful stuff. Brother Sohan, what about you, man? How does it feel being a part of the production and the roles you playing?
Yeah, I love it. Like Jay said, it's a great group of people to be working with, and the guidance we receive is fantastic. And the base of the character, one of the characters, I guess the main character I play is Jason, who's the father of the character that's central to this play, which is Journey. And the base of the character I was able to craft from my experiences being around people in my late teens, early 20s in Detroit. So that's the base of the character. And then I developed it further with support from Angel and Salima. And it's a very interesting character to play. I love characters that have you get to see their different sides, right? So on one side, you get to see this guy being a pretty ruthless, mean drug dealer that will do anything to make his money, to make sure that no one's stepping out of line, that he gets what he thinks he deserves. And so you get to see that side, and then you get to see the other side, which is his private life with his daughter. And he really does love her, and he wants her to know that he loves her, that she's loved. But because of the circumstances that the environment that they're in, he can't really make it work out, that relationship work as would be ideal, right? So you've got a lot of things going on in that environment. And you get an inside look into, it's a real look into people's lives where the audience will be able to clearly see, okay, there's clearly issues here. This is not a great, even though the father loves the daughter, it's just not working right. It's not how a family should be functioning in order for a child to grow up properly. And you get to see, connect the dots where later on you see how the daughter is coming along in life. You see how her personality is affected by her home life with her father and her mother. You see how those relationships have taken her down a certain path, how her personality is developed because of it. So it's a fun, very interesting play that I think people will be able to relate to and be interested in watching.
Wow, very powerful stuff, man. I'm excited. My juices is flowing over here. I got to go check it out. So I know I'm going to have to put this on the calendar for the 3rd, get my tickets and come check it out. And then I see Angel over there. Now she looks like she's real strict. I mean, she's the one that's always saying, cut, stop, everything has to be perfect. Angel, are you keeping everybody in line, Angel?
I kind of, I'm a light, but I do kind of keep things going. Sometimes I do have to say, hey, let's focus, let's get here. Because sometimes we can go off the charts. This actual play this time has been going really well. With the way we're doing, we haven't been getting sidetracked as much, but typically, yeah, I'm the one who kind of keeps us on task. um, and yeah.
So
But
how long
I'm the
is
nice one. I'm the nice
how,
guy.
how long is the play? Is it an hour and a half play, or how long is the play?
I would say it's about an hour and a half play.
It's to be
We'll have
probably
an intermission.
I couldn't hear you. You say that again, Angel?
I think Angel might have.
it's going to be about an hour and a half long.
Okay, that's nice. Straight to the point. Yeah,
I think Salima was talking
yeah,
to.
I couldn't hear you. You had broke up. Go ahead, Salima.
No, I thought Angel had frozen because I didn't hear her for a moment, but she said it's spot on. I think it's about an hour and a half play. As far as time frame, we'll have like a 10-12 minute intermission. But as we're talking about this play, I would love for Toni Rochelle to just interject and give us her tell us about her role as Sharon in the play.
Oh, I was coming to Toni next. I was giving her a second to warm up, but go ahead. Toni.
I got a lot of questions for Salima, but I'm gonna do as I'm told, because that's my Tyler Perry. She's my Tyler Perry, and First of all, I just want to say thank you, Salima, for writing the kind of stories that you write, the storytelling that you write. My experience with you is that, like, I have to go into this deep character, and sometimes it takes me hours and days to come down from the character who I'm playing. And so I appreciate you for that. I appreciate being able to push my craft further than what I even knew I had. So I'm a mother. I'm a pretty great mother. I'm a pretty good mother. I'm a bomb mother, okay? But in this particular play, without giving all the information away, because y'all got to come see us on stage, so I'm not gonna tell y'all all of our business. But it's the opposite. I'm a mother in this play, and I'm playing the opposite of who I am in real life. And let me tell you, when I first read the script, I was in tears. The second time I read the script, I was in tears. Just because I'm not that mom. And here it is, I'm being casted to play a certain type of mom. And I was just like, I would never talk to my child like that. I would never do this with my child. I would never, and so it's been an experience. But it's also a blessing too, because like I said, I get to push my craft and be this whole other individual who I'm not. And that's the whole part of acting, right? That's the whole part of being able to bring the story to life, is being a whole nother person, and also putting myself into that character as well. So it's been a very good experience. The best part is working with the cast, though. There's some phenomenal, my castmates are phenomenal. They came in and everybody just was like ready. It hasn't been a lot of an adjustment, and that's the one thing that I love about Salima. She writes how she writes, but she lets us be the character that we want to be, even, and in some kind of way, it always connects. Like, whatever person she casts as that character is like the perfect person for that character, and she doesn't have to do a lot of clean up around it. And I appreciate you for doing that, Salima, because not a lot of writers, not a lot of directors and producers let you really put your own self into the character. And so that's one of the reasons that I love bringing your stories to life. As she talked about earlier, we've done a play on HIV/AIDS. We've done a play off of domestic violence, and not the domestic violence that you're used to hearing, the woman getting beat by the man, but also the woman beating the man, And I'm like, dang, Salima, like, I never even thought about the opposite side of the story, like, it just, her writing resonates with me so much because growing up in the hood and growing up being Black and all these issues that people don't want to talk about, she's bold enough to put it on paper, and then got the nerves to be trying to cast some people to play it out. And so I just respect you and love you for that, and I can't wait for more and more to happen. But my question for you, Salima, is that, like I said, I just explained how I get so emotional and wrapped around these characters for days and hours sometimes. How do you, what is your process? Like, you really writing this stuff, you bringing it to life. What is your come down? How do you feel after you have written the play, or just read it over and over, or even going to rehearsal and seeing us bring it to life? What kind of adrenaline rush do you have?
Good question. I would say at the very beginning, it's more like, why am I doing this again? Can't I be sitting down, catching up on my TV, reading a book, taking a nap, like doing anything else? Like, why am I doing this all over again? Because I said, we all have 9-to-5 jobs. I'm like, why am I doing this again? But as I read it and I write it, or shall I say, as I write it and read it, and get the casting and get to seeing those people in action, and the message is really being delivered by the cast the way that I envisioned it. It's like, this is exactly why I'm doing it, because this is a message that I myself can't get out the way that these people can, the way that the cast can really get it out, and really, like I said, entertain people, keep them entertained, but also make sure that they have a message to leave with. So it's really the message that keeps me going. And just to decompress from it all, like, once it's over after June 4th, it's like, okay, I'm rested now. You know, after a couple weeks, it's like I'm rested, but now it's going to be time to get back into something else because it's always a new message. So it's just really being able to see it come to life with you guys, with the cast who can really bring the message to life.
Wow, very powerful stuff. So how many of these plays are you doing this year? Is just Friday and Saturday, or are you going a couple throughout the year? What's that looking like for community? Maybe some folks can't make it that weekend, but is there an opportunity for them to check it out another weekend or another month?
We don't have any other days lined up right now. For Cherish, it's just June 3rd and June 4th. But we after June 3rd and June 4th, we definitely will be looking at other venues to put it on. But we do have other plays that we will be putting on. We have one that's called Eris Rising. It's actually a real life domestic violence situation with the young lady. This is her real life story. She wrote a book and connected with Put Your Play on Productions to write a play from it. And in December, we always do for World AIDS Day. We do our AIDS and HIV, either You Better Ask Somebody and or You Better Ask Somebody Too. We're looking to actually put on both of them if we can this year, which is uber ambitious. But we'll see how that goes. But no, so I stated we don't have Cherish will be June 3rd and June 4th. So if you don't see it then, you may miss it for the first couple months. We'll definitely come back around and put it on. And as we're doing this, I would like to go ahead and put it out there that we are looking for a host, an MC for this live production. So if anybody has some MC skills, who can keep the audience engaged, who can keep it lively, you know, who's interested in the topic that we're dealing with, please definitely hit us up at putyourplayon.com. You can go to our casting call page, send us a video, a 4 minute short video, just showing us your hosting talents. We would love to have you a part of this conversation and have you on stage with us as well.
All right, you can put me down as a backup to the backup to the backup.
He will be good though. He will be good.
I'm not as funny as all the other people, but you know, definitely want to support. I mean, community, this sounds like something you have to go see. I know June 3rd and 4th is a big day. A lot of graduations are happening. Stuff's happening on that first week. Hey, but if y'all could get out there, we want to support this sister in their production. We got to get out there. We'll get the information up on the screen. And that's at the Berkeley Theater. What's the seat limit? Is it 200-300 or?
No, it's not at the Berkeley Theater. It's at the Black Repertory Theater that's in Berkeley. And it's a 200 seating.
Okay, there we go, community. I need y'all to show up. Both sides of the conversation, family. Let's show up and go support it. I think I'm gonna try to get out there on that Friday to check it out. But I mean, I think this is very powerful stuff. You know, one of the other things I wanted to ask you, because I know you said some of the authors allowed you to create plays, but when you're doing it outside, when you're doing your freelance writing, are you just like, you know, because I always wanted to know, like, I know sometimes people write, see what's going on in their families or their friends, and they just be like, this is crazy right now. When you're doing your freelancing, is there any like family or close people that you're close to, coworkers that you just like see their lifestyle and you put things together off that? Or is it all just kind of, you know, through books and things of that nature?
I would say a little bit of both. I would say definitely with Cherish, although none of my in-laws are indicative of any of the characters. They are all named in this play. So I have a brother-in-law that's Jason. My mother-in-law is Sharon. I have a father-in-law that's Jerome. I have a brother-in-law that's Jason. I have a sister-in-law that's Asia. So like all of the names and even some of the other names like Alisa, and they will actually be at the play as well. They're all named in the play, but they are not based on any of the characters. So yeah, you get inspiration from everywhere. I would definitely say with Cherish, this is a straight up just Oakland, just being in Oakland, living in Oakland, being raised in Oakland, coming back to Oakland after having moved away and lived in a couple other states and coming back to Oakland and seeing what's going on now. This is definitely a straight up Oakland inspired play.
Man,
Very
powerful. I want to say something to Salima. I want to tell the community, like during the pandemic, this lady right here, she was still putting on productions, you guys. She was still putting on productions, and we did virtual plays. Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard that? Where they do that at? Virtual plays. Meaning, I'm not talking about we was all together in one house, in one facility. We were in our own separate houses doing virtual plays. Salima, can you talk about that experience? Because I know what my experience was, but what was your experience of with putting on these virtual plays during the pandemic, and what made you even think of doing it? And Angel, you could speak on that too.
Actually, I'm going to turn it over to Angel because she was definitely instrumental in making sure that these virtual plays happen and came out to be very cinematic like, you know what I mean? Not just like rough drafts and choppy and somebody's over here and someone's over here, but really trying to bring the theater stage to your computer screen. So Angel, if you could really talk on that, that was something definitely that was inspired with Angel.
Okay, so yeah, so the pandemic hit about a month after our last stage play at Laney, and Salima's already told you she don't, watch TV and read a app. She's constantly going about what's next. So we kind of thought about what can we do? How can we stay relevant? How can we continue to put information out there? And we talked about a podcast, or we talked about doing recordings and putting them up, but we just couldn't figure it out. So we had the bright idea. We're going to do a virtual play. How we can get everyone on screen to do a play. So we researched a few different and of course Zoom won out. That was the best platform to use. And then the things came up about music, how we're going to do it, how do we create a whole play. So using different things like music, providing a virtual background, put the different actors in the same living room, clinic or where we are, as well as putting it on using PowerPoint to create slides. So we have our introduction, our title slides, our credit slides, in between the scenes slides. So it was a lot of virtual work. And it was really exciting to do it. And it was very successful. It just went off. We were nervous about it, but it turned out really great. And as a matter of fact, we put on a virtual on how to put on virtual plays where other production companies came to us with questions about, how did you do this? So we did a whole webinar on how
Mm-hmm.
put on a virtual play, and then we saw some other people were actually doing different virtual productions, and we watched a couple and said that's not what we want. We want ours to be better, and so we just kind of curated it, made it better than what we saw, and shared that information with other production companies. And I'm not saying we are the trendsetter for it, but I would like to say that we were probably the first to put on a nice, professional looking, good quality virtual
Mm-hmm.
play. It was a lot of work, a lot of stress.
Wow, very powerful. I know I kept saying it
We had a
earlier,
lot of
was the,
tech issues,
the,
but
the Bay Area Theater Company. That's one of the San Francisco arts that I've been watching some of their stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Salima, one of the things, I was thinking while I was sitting here, would it be cool is, because you're hitting these different topics. And as you start doing your production shows, you should definitely think about conversations before leading up to the show would be something that would be very powerful to do.
If we had you on as a host, you know what I mean? If you came in and mastered the ceremony to show, that could be all you. That's all I'm saying. I'm putting it out there. If you came in, it was like, you know what? We're going to start this off this way. Let's have this dialogue. Let's have this discussion because that's what the MC does.
Well, I mean, we definitely should talk about it. I think that's something powerful because, I mean, that's one of the things that we've been really trying to hone in with our educational Thursdays. What people are saying is, it's like even when we talking about HIV/AIDS in our community, while we're doing the educational component, doing that on a Thursday and then having the actual conversation with the doctors and the folks on a Sunday for community, they feel like that's more of a productive way of the education and awareness. So I just been holding on. I'm always thinking about that when we're trying to present, especially when we're trying to change the narrative and we're trying to make sure that our people get these concepts. How do you bring the education awareness before the actual play so that when people go out there, they actually like, wow, it just all kind of comes around full circle. So definitely, I'm definitely have to reach out to you and talk about that because I think that's the way collectively across the country, we need to start moving when bringing education awareness to our communities. I mean, there are so many issues, so many disparities that we are dealing with in the Black and brown community.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have to start highlighting these things. I think, the education awareness part, and then having the groups and then these plays and all that, just bringing it full circle is very powerful and informative for community.
I will say that one of the things that we try to do too, when we're having these different plays, like you said, with AIDS and HIV and or domestic violence or any other topics that we're dealing with, we like to have people who deal with these different type of issues have set up tables and booths at the play. So we'll reach out to, like when we did the AIDS and HIV play, we reached out to different organizations in that particular field and had them come out and, give out, we have free HIV testing, give them pamphlets, condoms, PrEP, whatever information that's out there. When we had domestic violence, we had different anger management, men dealing with domestic violence as well, just different types of resources that are there to assist in whatever theme topics that we're discussing.
Definitely. You already thinking that's the way I've been thinking, these community events that we're part of and doing outreach for. That's what I've been really asking them, because again, if like Mental Health Awareness Month, have the mental health folks actually out there at the events and things of that nature. And I think that's powerful. Yeah, that is definitely the way we need to do it, so that, it's a full collective. It comes around and we capture all of it. And that's what we're going to keep doing and keep pushing. So yeah, I think that is very powerful. That you all are doing that, reaching out to those different organizations, and then you get to really find who's doing the work too. That's one thing I found is all these people in our community saying that they provide services, but when it's time to do the work, you see who shows up and who don't. And I think that's very powerful. But man, very powerful stuff that you all are doing. I'm excited. I want to see this because I'm just in love with the arts. And I just think that, Black folks, our stories are always told through movies, through music, through plays. And it's just a great way to get messaging out to our community. Just glad that you all are collectively, putting this together. Now, for our young folks in the community, because I always hear mothers always asking for the summertime and things of that nature, for young folks to get involved. Do you have some type of way y'all do scanning for young folks and young people who maybe want to get into the arts, or that's something that you all building out in the future?
I would say the one thing for young people, because this play is dealing with the youth, dealing with community responsibility, tickets are free for those who are 18 and under. So if you know any kids in the community, whether they're going through this, whether they're not, if they know someone, if they just want to get involved in the arts and come and see an amazing show, and maybe this will kind of pique their interest, 18 and under are free to get in on both nights.
Wow, very powerful stuff there. You have it, community. I'm definitely going to support you all on this one. I think the Friday will be the best day for me because I know I got an event on the 4th, but I'm going to get a couple tickets. I'm going to try to get some more community folks. I think this is powerful, especially that you all are doing it in the Oakland, Berkeley area, because with all the gentrification and all the things that's taking place in our community, to continue to highlight these stories and to bring this information to our community is very powerful. I was on a city call today for the city of Oakland, and just, Black spaces going around, people fighting for things that's going on at the lake. And it's terrible that, our communities are still being impacted with this gentrification. And we want to have our Black spaces. We want to have Black theater spaces. We want to have Black movie theaters. We still want to have our space in our community. So I think it's very powerful that you all are putting this together and keep it in our communities. And definitely we're going to go out and support you all on this, and we'll find people from the community. I'll definitely reach out to you and make sure we get this information in our newsletter as it's going out for the first week of June, and then make sure that we get as many folks, knowing about your play. And I'll put it on our Mega Black Call information tomorrow, so some of the folks on Mega Black could actually be a part of it. 200 seats community. Let's do our part. Let's show up and sell this thing out for this sister and for this cast. And let's show some Bay Area love. I think this is a great event, and I think this is something that could be powerful, and we want to definitely get behind and support this as well. But
Salima, Salima, before we go, Salima, if you could tell a young Salima out there that's a Black little Salima, and she's trying to be a writer, and she wants to put out her stories, and she's like, I didn't go to Grambling, I can't get out of Oakland, I can't get out of San Leandro, I can't get out of San Francisco. in the Fillmore district. I can't get out, but I got some stories in my head. I got stories. I want to be like Salima. What's the best advice that you would give that little Salima?
The best advice I would say is do it. You don't have to, like you said, everybody is not able to get out, go to Grambling. Everybody want a couple credits from Grambling, but that's a different story. But everybody can't get up and get out sometimes. And if you can't, that's okay, because there's so many different resources in your community to where you don't necessarily have to leave the state. You don't necessarily, you know what I mean? You don't have to leave and go all the way across the world to write a fabulous story. The internet is out there for you, number one, to collaborate with other people. That's the one thing I would definitely say with the stories that we write, is that I did have a chance to get out of Oakland and come back, but it's the collaboration and the other people that I've met, that I continue to meet as well. So just collaborate with other people. Don't just talk to your neighbor. Talk to the person on that other block. Talk to the person on that other community. The fact that you can't get out of California, AC Transit still works. BART still works. Muni still works. You know what I mean? You have friends with cars. Get it. If you want to go somewhere, go to other communities, see how other people live, talk to other people, and get your ideas out there. When I first started writing, I had no clue of what I was doing. I had never put on a play. I had been to many plays, but had never put on one at all. It's just really all about getting out there and doing it and collaborating with other people who do. I will definitely say one of the theaters that we have collaborated with, Safe House Arts in San Francisco, has been an awesome collaboration with helping us with our ideas as far as the play is concerned, and just helping us getting the word out there, putting it on. We did a reading at Safe House Arts in San Francisco, and they were just really instrumental in helping us to get as far as we are right now. So just getting out there. There's a lot of different theaters out there, a lot of different communities on Facebook and social media. Reach out to them. You can reach out to me if you need to. I'll be more than happy to talk with you, help you out. Like I said, I'm all about collaboration, because our voice at Put Your Play on Productions is not the only voice. We know there's thousands upon millions of other voices that need to get out there. And we really want to be the platform, as Angel has said. We really want to be the platform to get other voices out there as well.
Wow, very powerful stuff. There you all have it. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give you a gem. The next play should be about teenage bullying and teenage suicide. That's a big one. That's the next big play right there. That's a big one.
You know what? You're right.
Challenge, Salima.
That is a big one. And you know what? I will accept that challenge.
I mean, I just think it's, I was on a call today with the Department of Public Health, and the amount of teen suicide, and I put a few articles in our group today of young folks being bullied and committing suicide, feeling like they don't have anybody they could go to. I mean, I just think it's a powerful story. So many young folks are on the internet screaming for help, and being bullied. And I just think that's something that we need to continue to highlight. We're going to do our part here to continue to have conversations about bullying. We're going to be putting together one Sunday a month for our young folks to come on here and give them a youth day, to have a youth Sunday conversation, to talk about some of the stuff that they're going through. But the amount of violence and the amount of bullying that takes place in our school districts is unbelievable. And, a lot of parents have brought it to light. But a lot of our young folks are suffering in silence. And again, we definitely want to have those intersections meet where they feel like it's being highlighted, it's talked about, and ways that we could combat it in our community. So I think that's something powerful. Just wanted to throw that out there, since you all doing some great work.
No, that's definitely a great idea. And I actually want to say that Angel had already, when we were talking probably like a couple months ago about the different plays that we want to do and coming up, Angel had actually mentioned that's something that we should speak on and we should bring up and write about. So you and Angel have the same mind, because she actually brought that up a couple months ago.
No, I think that's
why
very
y'all
powerful.
Shaq and Kobe. They're over there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying, and that's our motto here. We want to continue to engage our young people, empower them. And we want to give them a voice. Dr. Joy DeGruy came out a month ago and was talking about, post-traumatic slave syndrome. And she came out and she put the young people up there, and they just kept saying, like, we don't have a voice. Nobody listens to us. And it really touched me. And I was like, look, I reached out to him, like, look, I'm going to give y'all a Sunday. Y'all can have a segment on here. Y'all can run it the way y'all want it. Y'all can have y'all kind. But it seems like everywhere I'm going to these community events, and when I go to these schools, I'm always doing motivational speakings. I'm always doing speaking at different people. Folks always calling to have me come in and do it. And I always talk to the young folks, and it's like consistent. Like, we don't have nowhere to like get our voices off. Nobody want to listen to it. The elders don't want to listen to it. And only thing they feel they have is social media, and then they really don't know how to like get their messaging across per se as well as they should on social media. But again, I'm always advocating for our young folks, making sure that their voices are heard. How do we uplift them? Changing the narrative of these young folks don't know, because I just don't believe it. I keep hearing this. I'm like, we have some talented young people. And even with this young man that committed this heinous crime, I'm in these digital streets, so I'm always on social media, and I listen on Clubhouse, and I'm listening to people, and they keep saying like, this 18-year-old could not write that type of manifesto. And I'm like, where y'all at? I know some brilliant young folks who are very talented. And I just think it's a disservice to our community to think that our young folks don't have the capability to do some of the things they do. Not saying that they're not guided or led through other entities. But I just want to highlight that just for community. We have some amazing young folks who are doing some amazing things. They just had a 14-year-old law student graduate in Georgia. We've had some young, just brilliant minds just over excelling. And I just want to make sure our community know we have some phenomenal young people that we just need to invest in, and we need to bring them under our wings and help lead our future generations, because this is going to be their fight. And we're going to need to empower them and support them and give them the leeway that they need. So just wanted to put that out there. In any way we can connect young folks to you all, or be a support to you all, please reach out to us. Any events you guys have coming up, or anything that you are doing, or messaging that you want to get out, please feel free to get it to both sides of the conversation. We'll get it out to our network. This is what it's all about, just getting the information out to our network. And about this Friday and Saturday show, we're going to do our part to try to get it booked out. And I'm going to put it around some spaces that we are involved in and get the folks to show up and support this production.
Well, we thank you for having us on here for both sides of the conversation. We definitely appreciate you. I appreciate Tony for having us on. Angel, Sohan, and Jay, thank you guys for coming on. And we hope to see everybody June 3rd and June 4th at the Black Repertory Theater in Berkeley. Cherish live on stage at 7 o'clock p.m. They can get tickets at putyourplayon.com/productions. If you know any youth who want to come in and be edutained, who wants to get more into theater, have them come out to the show. It's free for 18 and under. And like I said, it's definitely going to be an Oakland show.
Man, very powerful. Before we leave, Jay, Sohan, Angel, and Tony, if there's anything y'all want to say to the community before we leave, this is the time we always give our guests to give some words of encouragement, or whatever you all want to give out about the play, or whatever you want to give, any shout outs. This is the time to do it.
Come and see it. You'll enjoy it.
All right.
There you go.
All right. You follow the lead.
Like
just come out and see it. Angel, you want to
keep on our website and just keep an eye out on our social media, on our website, to see what else we have coming. We're constantly as soon as one show is over, we take a nap for a week, we start all over again. So keep follow Put Your Play on the different social media platforms and see what we have going on. And again, I look forward to still working with and creating edutainment that deal with our community social issues.
I like that, edutainment. Tony, you want to say anything before?
I just want to say, again, like Salima stressed, please, if you have any teenagers, anyone that's under 18, make it a date night. Moms, aunties, grandmas, cousins, neighbors, it's a very, very important message, and it's something to do. We haven't been on stage in 2 years, okay? So we are itching to be on a real stage, even though the virtual plays was off the chain. We are excited, and we're going to bring our A game. But most of all, the message is the biggest thing. So I encourage you, community, come out. If you can't come to it and you really want to go to it, tell 5 other people to come. Again, it's free for 18 and under. It's a phenomenal topic. You're dealing with a phenomenal writer, and the cast is off the chain, and everyone else that's involved. We worked really hard on it, and we really need an audience. So come out. Thank you again, Salima, for writing this phenomenal story. Thank you, John, for this platform. Thank you, Cass. All I gotta say, if y'all don't show up, y'all gonna miss something good. Y'all gonna miss something good.
Right.
No, we definitely showing up. We're gonna show up, and you guys come check out some of this talent from another Grambling Tiger. You guys got to get out there. 200 people. We're gonna try to sell this out, and definitely Angel or Salima, please give me the digital flyer for the event so the week of we could blast it out to make sure that it's still on folks' mind, and on our 2 shows on Tuesday and Thursday. We'll make sure we announce it and get it on our production sheet, because again, we want to continue to support. And I know some folks over there at Youth Uprising and some of my East Oakland organizations, and I'm gonna try to get them to bring some of the young folks out to support this event. So,
and the BART station is right across the street, so y'all ain't even gotta drive y'all car. Y'all can make it a carpool thing on the BART and walk right across the street. Ain't no excuses, y'all. Ain't no excuses. Okay.
That's right. No excuses. Get out there and support Push or Play production. The information is up on the screen. Please go to their website, check out for ticket information, buy your ticket, support Black businesses. This is what this is all about. Thank you all for coming in. Tomorrow's the Warriors game. Go Warrior. I know everybody's in the community getting excited for that. But just excited to have this amazing cast here tonight. Thank you all for coming on tonight and giving community an open eye of what you all are doing. And we're here to help amplify and get that information out so community can support y'all endeavors. Thank you for all the work you do. Thank you for being humble and having compassion and being able to deliver these messages for our community, much needed. And to community, it's our time to now step up and support this organization as we always do. I know my both sides of the conversation family, y'all show up for everything. Let's show up, show out, and come support this play. With that being said, this Sunday we'll be getting information out to the community. Our next live show will be on Tuesday for another Hidden Gem segment, as we're going to take a break on Thursday. We're going to try to rearrange some stuff for this Thursday. Are we getting ready to ramp up for our Father's Day conversation, as well as our men's mental health conversation? Again, this is mental health awareness month, but next month is Man's Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're going to be working with our Black and brown brothers. We're going to have some conversations with men in the community. How do we fix some of these traumas and some of these things that's impacting our community as we continue to try to build the man up of our community? And, it's a lot of work, a lot of conversations. Again, shout out to the class 2022, all of our young folks between next week and the week after graduate. Just want to keep honoring and celebrating our young folks. They've been through the pandemic and they are still grinding it out. We got a number of young folks that we're going to highlight on this platform who are graduating on honors, headed to college. We have some of our first kids who are coming back from college who graduated. So we just excited. And to all of the families, we just want to send our prayers out to Buffalo and just let them know that they are in our prayers. All of our communities across the country, let's stick together, stand in solidarity, be aware, be vigilant. We have to stay on our toes in our community. It's sad we have to be like that with the times we are in, but be safe out there, folks. We'll see you all for our next live segment. Have a blessed evening and be safe out there, people.